Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger, and you are watching Smart Tank Revolution.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your solo host and orator, narrator extraordinaire, Mr. Donnie Wonderful. And we are back with yet another read along, so you all know what time it is.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Don't you just love the nostalgia in that song? I love it. Well, let's get down to business. Today, coming from Pro Wrestling Stories, and you can follow them on Facebook, from author J.P. Zarka, and this was written, January 10, 2023. And it is titled The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels Fight That Almost Was. I remember hearing this for the first time on 1997 from RF Videos with Jim Cornette and Shawn, where Jim Cornette went down the entire the entire year of 1997 that kicked off the Attitude Era. And I remember this was years and years ago, maybe about like 2009 when I first heard this, or maybe a year or two later. But it spilled over to WrestleMania 14, which I was at, and then Cornette tells the story of the Undertaker taping his fist, sitting in Gorilla, and I'm gonna try to speak. No, I'm not gonna even try to speak like Jim Cornette, but I'm gonna try to quote him verbatim to the best of my memory. I believe he said, "If things went the way they were supposed to be, that's all it would have been. But if Shawn decided to do something, it would have been a long night for Shawn." And they both even touched over it in several other interviews. I know Undertaker mentioned it somewhere. It may have been on his podcast, but they're good friends now. So let's get into this. All right. Take a sip of that water and enjoy and mellow out to the cool narrating voice, Mr. Donnie Wonderful. All right. So again, whenever I interject a personal thought, I will say something that will transition into it. And hopefully I don't go on too long of a tangent. Let me see how long this damn thing is. Well, whatever. It's my lunch break. We do this for the people. All right. So again, the title, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels Fight That Almost Was. All right. Shawn Michaels was in a bad place leading up to WrestleMania 14. Pause. I'm going to start right there. You damn right he was. As a matter of fact, I have a story. Donnie has a story. So I was in 8th grade when WrestleMania 14 was here. And they had the open workouts. Mike Tyson, he was the headliner. So, what boxing they typically do. They had the open workouts in City Hall. And it was a weekday. I believe it was a Tuesday or something like that. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I don't remember. It was a weekday. And everybody in the world, I'm sorry, not everybody in the world, everybody in the city, all of us BPS school kids, we all had an elaborate plan to cut school that day. I'm going to get back to that story, actually, because it's a funny one. I'm just saying, that battery that hit Shawn Michaels in the head, the marksman, leave it at that. I'll get back to that some other time on another video. All right, resume. He was not an easy person to get along with at the time, and he was doing everything in his power not to drop the belt to Steve Austin in the main event. Many didn't take this lightly, including The Undertaker, who stood stoically backstage in gorilla position, fist wrapped, ready to confront Michaels. Ooh, ooh. Right? Let's continue. Undertaker, who played the resident locker room leader's role for many years, was often the bridge between talent and Vince McMahon himself. A year before Shawn Michaels was pitted against Steve Austin, Michaels pulled out of a planned loss to Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13 due to an injury, which some believe he faked, As a result, The Undertaker was growing tired of Shawn Michaels' mess around with business. Wait, did he say that right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna reread that. The Undertaker was growing tired of Shawn Michaels' mess around with business. Could have worded that better, but I get it. Okay, so all right, I guess this is a build up. So, subtitle: Shawn Michaels loses his smile. And again, pause. I'm going to have the link to the article so you all can read it yourself. If you're tired of me interjecting my little two pennies in, or if you're tired of me fumbling over these words, I'm trying to read it off of one good eye right now. All right, bear with us. Okay, subtitle again. Shawn Michaels loses his smile. On February 13th, 1997, a special episode of Thursday Night Raw took place at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. I'm sorry. Wait. Pause. I remember this. I'm gonna get back to it. I remember this. This is when I was so pissed off. Shawn Michaels lost his smile, and he did that here locally in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is actually about like 35 miles away from Boston, give or take. But as a boxing trainer, that's where we hold the Golden Glove Championships. So I frequent that place. Some most of the times with fighters, but the very few times as a spectator. But when I'm there with my fighters, I get to roam the locker rooms. Walk up to the stage, and I just soak it all in. Like this is where Shawn Michaels lost his smile. At the time, I hated Shawn because he beat Bret at WrestleMania 12. But I'm not going to digress anymore. So I'm gonna start this over again. Shawn Michaels loses his smile. Ah, on February 13th, 1997, a special episode of Thursday Night Raw took place as the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show was airing on the then WWF's usual Monday night slot. This show is most remembered for Shawn Michaels vacating the WWF Championship due to a supposed knee injury. During a memorable segment on the show, Michaels said he lost many things over the last year, but his smile was the most significant thing lost. Pause. Going back, that was actually that was a really great promo. That was a really great promo. Knee injuries suck, man, and hey, sometimes they're really hard to diagnose. It really depends on your tolerance for pain. And if Shawn said he couldn't go, he couldn't go. So respect for him there. All right, continue. Well, there's one thing about me is I can't do anything halfway. And I come here and I hear the people and they can chant a Sid's name or they can chant Brett's name or they can chant a lot of people's names. And one thing's for sure, you're going to have all that in the future. And that's what I want for the World Wrestling Federation fans. In spite of what people may think about me, what I've always wanted for all these people is for them to have a good time and to enjoy themselves. I always tried to be the one to provide it, whether it was on the good side or the bad side. But what was always important to me was the performance. Was the performance so that these people, each time they reached in their pocket, they paid to get a WWF ticket, they didn't regret it. This is, by the way, pause. This is a transcription of that promo. I'm just gonna go down to the next one, to the next subtitle. You all can watch the promo yourselves, but we want to get to the crux of it. You can watch it or you can read it. It ends after the oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna read this part. I'm gonna read the part that transitions over to why we're actually reading this article. It says, to this day, there is speculation as to whether Michaels really did injure his knee to the point where he had to give up the title. The abandonment of the title intensified the tension between Shawn Michaels and many people in the back. Of course, Shawn Michaels would later go on to screw Bret Hart at pause. Ah, unfortunately. Yeah, we get it has to be referenced because it's a part of why The Undertaker was going to bash Shawn Michaels' brains in had he didn't do business. Okay. Hmm. We're going to go back and resume. Of course, Shawn Michaels would later go on to screw Bret Hart at Survivor Series 1997 in what was a shock to the entire locker room by conspiring with Vince to change a result without his opposition knowing. Michaels had betrayed the entire locker room. Undertaker was legitimately furious. We all know the story about that. All right, let's go straight into it. The night of WrestleMania 14. When it came to WrestleMania 14, it was the turn of Steve Austin to get a run at the WWF title. Austin was the hardest thing going, and he offered a genuine shot for the WWF to become a financial success again. Would Michaels do the right thing and put the star over? According to many, Michaels was doing everything in his power to politic backstage and not do Austin the honors. But Undertaker, as the locker room leader, was taking no chances. Before the Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels match took place, Taker got in Michaels' face and showed his fists. He let the egotistical star know that he would face the consequences if he did anything other than putting Austin over. Pause. That part I didn't know about. As far as I know, not even Shawn Michaels mentioned this. I remember I remember seeing someplace where it was a shoot interview, was on a stage, Shawn saying that he went up to ask Undertaker, he's like, was that true that you stood there and you was waiting to beat me up and in case I didn't do business or something like that? And he said, Taker said, Shawn, if we knew if that was he said he alluded something that there may have been too much Jack Daniels over the years that somebody made it up. I don't know. But like the way it's being reported here, well, damn, I can see why Shawn would be trembling in fear when he came out. All that aggression, he had to shake that off. I mean, you basically here's the pistol to your head. Like, hey, you don't want to do business? You want to reenact Montreal? Don't come back through Gorilla. Essentially, that's what it was, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure the Undertaker wasn't singing to him. There had been a lot of F bombs there. I mean, Undertaker 6'10". There is no Diesel and Razor to help you. And Hunter, I don't know if the Hunter was gonna oppose the Undertaker, especially back then. He's the locker room leader. All right. So let's continue. The result went off without a hitch. Michaels lost to Austin clean, and the most successful era in the business was started. Meanwhile, Undertaker unwrapped his wrists and carried on with his business as normal. Wow. Okay. So this is an interesting subtitle here. Steve Austin gives his take. We're reading all of this. Okay, it says it makes a reference. In our recommended article, Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, the shocking WrestleMania 14 story, Austin goes into detail about this memorable passing of the torch. I hope that actually he's talking about the match instead of the Undertaker. I want to know, did he know that the Undertaker was about to give Shawn Michaels a coma? Not give him a coma, give him pure blunt force trauma. Was about to make him an organ donor if he didn't do the job. Let's see. Steve says, it was a real pain getting it was a real pain even getting to the match, and Shawn will tell you this. He wasn't in a good place, physically or mentally, Austin said of their WrestleMania 14 match. He had a real bad attitude on him and didn't feel like dropping the strap. Austin would, of course, go on to win the WWF title at the event. Steve Austin elaborated on HBK's attitude, specifying an open workout in Boston in which Michaels was hit with a battery, which sent him over the edge. Oh man. Oh man. We made history. Never mind. Okay, continue. Neither he nor Mike Tyson, who was also present, knew if Michaels would return to the workout after leaving. Hold on, pause. For the record, I did not throw a battery at Shawn Michaels. I would have loved to have been the culprit because I hated Shawn at this point. But it wasn't me. Don't blame me. It was not me. All right. Okay. Despite the outcome of WrestleMania 14 match, Austin wasn't happy with it. I walked out of that thing as WWE champion, but I told Vince that match was the drizzling shit, Steve Austin said. He noted that Vince assured him it was fine and they accomplished what they needed to do. So what was Michael I'm sorry. So what was Michael's psyche at the time? Then it goes in to the next subtitle. Shawn Michaels shares his side of the story. In an interview on the Steve Austin show, Shawn Michaels opened up about why he tried to resist dropping the belt to Austin and why he was difficult to deal with at the time. You'd have to you'd have to have been a dummy not to know that Austin was coming on hot. For me, and again, just being 100% totally honest, it's one of those things where, like, it's cool. All of the stuff that's happening is big, but you're not a part of it. I'm not gonna try to talk like Shawn Michaels anymore. And that was admittedly a tough pill to swallow. And obviously, not being the great guy that I am now, Michaels continued, the thing is, the animosity was never towards Austin. It was the situation. It was at Vince. The career is over. I'm dropping the title. It was palpable that this was going to be big. There was absolutely nothing good going on with me. So I was a to everybody. Shawn Michaels was in a lot of pain in the build up to WrestleMania 14. I have to be honest, I was on a fair amount of stuff. I can tell you that going into WrestleMania 14 when the whole thing started. It was excruciating. You have had you have had that unbelievable pain going down your leg. The leg feels like it's dragging, and I guess for me, that was the thing that came for me mentally. I could always deal with pain. I don't actually understand the structure of that sentence, but let's read along. Mobility and feeling heavy. That wait, what? Oh, all right. Listen, we got to skip a lot of this. We're gonna skip some of this. I don't want to read about Shawn Michaels. I want to read about. Thank you. Let's get straight down to where the Undertaker comes in. All right. Opening up about Undertaker taping his fist and threatening him before the big match, Michaels admitted back then Mark didn't like me. But at no time has he ever claimed that he said anything to the face of Shawn Michaels, and that's because he didn't. Mark went to everybody and told them, if this doesn't go down the way it should, I'm going to have a big problem, and Shawn is going to have a big problem. I'll go over there and beat the heck out of him. But he never had to say anything to me. Mm. My whole intention at WrestleMania 14 was to drop the belt to Steve, but I was going to make everybody sweat it out and make them think I wasn't. Obviously, I got that accomplished. That's extremely unprofessional, but that's exactly who I was and what I was doing. Mm. Here we're going to read the last subtitle of this ravishing article. Undertaker reflects on his dislike of Shawn Michaels in the 90s. Speaking on WWE Untold, The Undertaker opened up about his disdain towards Shawn Michaels at the time. Where Shawn Michaels and I are today, and where we were back then on a personal level, it's taken a complete 360. I'm pretty sure he meant to say 180. If Shawn Michaels back then were on fire, I probably wouldn't piss on him to put him out. With that being said, there is no one that I would rather be in the ring with than Shawn Michaels. When it came to bell time, and we were looking across the ring at each other, we knew it was going to be something really special. It's not like there were a bunch of animosities. We were just two very different personalities. Shawn Michaels had this to add. I was very outgoing, which is to say I was overly obnoxious. And Mark's always been a very quiet, laid back kind of guy. A very cool hand loop, very Clint Eastwood-ish type. And I was not. Thankfully now, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, as well as Michaels and Austin, are in a much better place. Wow. And must I add here, so is Brett and Shawn. And of course, Undertaker and Brett always been cool. I gotta add my boy in. Um, yeah, this read here was kind of underwhelming to me, seeing that the whole thing about, Undertaker pulling up to Shawn Michaels' face was refuted by HBK. Did we ever hear Undertaker ever say that? That's a question. We're gonna do some digging. Anyway, this has gone long enough. I thank you all if you made it this far. My diatribe is over. We appreciate you. Love all the supporters and all the new subscribers. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section. Then, if you want to go over the article yourself, I will make sure to leave it in the description box so you can read it uninterrupted, unhinged. You know, let us know what you think. Donnie Wonderful, signing off.